We want to take a couple of minutes and talk about a unique feature here at the site called the FlexiPass. It's something Steve and I came up with about 5 or 6 years ago, and it really puts you in control and gives you flexibility, thus the name FlexiPass, and picking which handicappers you want on a daily basis according to whether or not they have a big play. But it's all designed to save you hundreds of dollars over the course of a day, 7 days, or even a month.
And handicappers, just like the athletes themselves, they're very streaky. They go on hot streaks, they go on cold streaks. With the FlexiPass, again, it puts the power into your hands so you don't have to ride one handicapper for affinity. You can go ahead and, pick and choose your spots as the handicappers get hot.
Now, you know as well as I do, we've got about 80% of the customers here at the site wrapped up in the long-term packages, either with one particular handicapper or via the FlexiPass. I think a lot of guys love the FlexiPass, just like you're saying, because one day they might find, hey, Jeff Benton has a monster play, I want to be on it. Another day it might be me, another day it might be you. But it gives them the flexibility to come in and out, but it still is designed to save them big money over the long term, and that's what we're all about. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars to find winners. We make it economical, and yet we let you stay in control.
Yeah, and in the olden days, you had to buy all 5 handicappers to really find out what was going on, even if you were only following one at a time. So obviously, with the economy the way it is, this makes it great. It makes it very easy for you to go in, spend the least amount of money to get the most input.
Guys, and if you have any questions about the FlexiPass, remember, you can always email customer service using the help link here on the site, but it really is exactly what we just told you. You buy a package of 2 handicappers, 1 handicapper, 4 handicappers, and then every single day, you decide which one of the handicappers among the 11 or 12 at the site you want their plays of via the FlexiPass.
Yeah, at the end of the day, our site's all about putting the power back into the hands of the player.
How would you like to save $20 off a single purchase today? That's right, $20 off the top of the single purchase today online at our site. All you got to do, guys, is simply enter this coupon code, and you'll see it right here at the bottom of the screen as well, Week 2, Week 2. W-E-E-K and the number 2, no space between week and 2. You enter week 2 when prompted in your shopping cart. You will save $20 off a single purchase today. Remember, guys, not only do I do the Countdown to Kickoff show here along with Steve Budin, but every single day I do a daily video report where I offer you money-saving discount codes that can save you big dollars off your purchases, short-term and long-term here online. Plus, I have the $5 Play of the Week promotion, the Charity Play of the Week promotion, where we help others and make a greater good out of gambling. Again, today, your money-saving discount coupon code for Sunday, save $20 off a single purchase, and that is simply going to be Week 2, W-E-E-K-2. Enter it when prompted in your shopping cart. Welcome back, everyone, to the Countdown to Kickoff program. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin. We continue to motor on through your Sunday NFL card from an ATS perspective. 2 teams, both coming off really strange losses. New Orleans and Carolina. New Orleans only a 3-point favorite now at Carolina. True, the Panthers have dominated this series point spread-wise, covering 8 of the last 11. But we talked about value in the lines. Well, here everybody's down on the Saints. But listen, Drew Brees even pointed out they lost their opener last year at Green Bay, and they finished 13-3. One loss, of course, unless you had that team, the Saints, last week like I did, does not make a season. But I think this is a cheap price. How can you not play the Saints?
I think what happens is because the Saints are coming off their worst offseason in their history, Bountygate, they lost their head coach, that fuels the speculation, and everyone's wondering if this loss is because of that. You're right to point out they lost their first game last year. It didn't hurt them at all. I think this is as close psychologically to a must-win game for the Saints as you'll ever see in a week 2. Very hard to get off to an 0-2 start and be in the money. I like the Saints here. I'd lay the wood.
And I'm a big believer in the law of average. And listen, guys, last week Drew Brees, 24 for 52, and he had 2 interceptions. This is a guy who completed 31% or 71% of his passes a year ago. Law of averages says Saints rebound with the win, and that's one that I'd be willing to put my money on this week. Philadelphia and Baltimore. Here's another contest where the line is influenced by what people saw last week. We saw the Monday night game. Baltimore looked tremendous against Cincinnati. We saw the Sunday game. Philadelphia needed that last-second comeback to beat Cleveland 17-16 on the road. But Philadelphia self-destructed in that game. 5 turnovers, 14 penalties. They had 456 net yards in the game. The Browns did nothing offensively. But when Michael Vick keeps throwing the ball to the other team, 4 interceptions in week number 1, 14 interceptions last year, Eagles are going to have problems getting into the end zone.
Yeah, Michael Vick was doing his best chili peppers routine. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. But you have to ask yourself, with 4 interceptions in the first game, Al, are other teams starting to understand how to play this Michael Vick, how to defend against his athleticism, how to defend against the fact that he's an elite quarterback? Have they seen enough of him? Are they getting now to this point where they can make a scheme to actually defend against him? I think that's what we're seeing here. I think Philly will adjust. I like the Eagles here. I think they're going to win this game.
Now listen, and I grew up outside of the Philadelphia area, but I got to tell you, I like the Ravens here because I look at the Eagles. I think a defensive has adjusted to Michael Vick. Listen, this guy has never been an accurate passer. He's always been more run first, pass second. He's never been a tremendously good thrower, except in his first year with the Eagles 2 seasons ago. And I look at this Baltimore offense with the new hurry-up, no huddle attack, and Joe Flacco had a monster game.
Looked so good in week 1. Really looked confident, really looked poised, looked really good.
21-29, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they still have Ray Rice. So I like Baltimore at this cheap price. I mean, it's just a tremendous line in this game. I love the Ravens in this game. Ravens, of course, hammered Cincinnati in the Monday night game. Now Cincinnati looking to rebound against those same Cleveland Browns. I think this is a great spot to jump on the team looking for the rebound, and that's the Bengals.
Oh, listen, in these games, as I've been watching them over the last 15 years, whenever Cleveland plays Cincinnati, even though on paper Cincinnati looks like the great team, these teams always get up to play each other. It's like a mini, Super Bowl for them. And when you're in that position where you have, these type of rivalries, I always like to take 7 points if I can. So I'm on the opposite side of you again this time. I'm going with the Browns plus the 7, what I think is going to be a war.
See, I look at the Browns here and Brandon Weeden. I mean, he has a passer rating of 5.
Yep.
Michael Vick had an awful game. His passer rating was 50. Brandon Weeden was 5 last week. Browns couldn't run the ball. Browns couldn't throw the ball. Cincinnati has a good defense. I think Andy Dalton and that team, they're going to be able to put the points on, and they swept the season series last year. I love them in this spot. And by the way, Cincinnati, I think, is a great teaser opportunity if you're looking for a team in a teaser. Cincinnati -1, 1.5 at home. They're not going to lose the game. That's the bottom line. Houston and Jacksonville. Houston was very impressive last week, hammering Miami 30-10. But then again, they were playing the Dolphins.
Listen, we all know Houston's 11-2 in their last 13 against the spread, but for me, the real value here is going to come with the over. 41.5 points. Blaine Gabbert doing a little better in his second year. Maurice Jones-Drew, if they just give me, Al, 14 points, I think this game goes over.
That's an interesting number at 41.5 for the over. I'm not sure there. I kind of like Houston in this contest, but I do think Houston can play better than they did against Miami. I think Jacksonville showed you what Jacksonville is when they blew the late lead at Minnesota and eventually lost in overtime. So I lean a little toward Houston, but not a game I'd put my own money on. Certainly not in this particular contest at all. And then we want to look at the Dallas and Seattle contest, and I think this is one where you've got the Cowboys 4 extra days of rest coming off the big game against the Giants. Is it a letdown? Is this game a trap at 3.5? What do you think?
This game's got trap written all over it, but for me, I look at this game as a bookmaker. Dallas should be 5.5, 6, not 3. I think the Cowboys continue to roll. Only I've done this before with Tony Romo. And listen, Romo, I'm giving you one shot, and then I'm off of you.
Listen, I watched the Seattle game. I mean, Russell Wilson, good college quarterback, couldn't get the job done there late on the final series for Seattle. I think this is underpriced. I think Dallas is getting no respect from the odds makers. They should be laying 6, 6.5. 3.5, you got to play the pokes in this one. Romo and DeMarco Murray, monster games in the opener against the Giants. I think they repeat their performances here against Seattle. Well, that'll do it for this segment, guys. We'll be right back, and we'll break down the rest of your card on Sunday.